Imagine this. Your big group vacation is just around the corner. You spent months planning it, everything's paid for, and the excitement is building. Then you get that call, the one that sends everything into a total tailspin. Well, that's exactly what happened here, and we're going to break down this whole nightmare scenario to pull out some seriously useful travel hacks.
I mean, can you even process getting a message like this? Not weeks in advance, not even a week, but 3 days before you're supposed to hit the road. The panic must have been just, wow, the clock is officially ticking.
So here's the scene. You've got 10 friends, all hyped for a big cruise heading out of Miami. They're coming from Georgia, and the plan was perfect. One big van, a fun road trip together, and now that plan is completely up in smoke. Their entire vacation is just hanging by a thread.
So how does something that seems so locked in just totally fall apart? This wasn't just a case of bad luck. Nope. This is a perfect storm. A real masterclass in how modern travel can sometimes go so wrong.
And this is where it gets really frustrating. I mean, they did everything by the book. They booked this thing way back in January, and they prepaid for it. And get this, the traveler wasn't just some random customer. They had President's Club status with Avis. That's their top-tier, highest loyalty level. You think that's like a golden ticket, right? That it's supposed to mean something?
Which, of course, brings us to the big, painful question that I think a lot of us have wondered about. What is that shiny loyalty card really worth when things hit the fan? Does being in the President's Club actually put you at the front of the line, or are you just another reservation that can get canceled?
And, wow, this comment from the travel community just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the harsh reality of the situation. The top-tier status didn't prevent the problem. All it did was change how they found out about it. It was the difference between a courtesy call and the absolute shock of showing up to an empty parking spot. Ouch.
This is really the heart of the frustration, isn't it? It's this massive gap between expectation and reality. You expect priority service, you expect a guaranteed vehicle, you expect peace of mind. But the reality? It was a cancellation call, a simple refund offer, and an absolutely frantic, last-ditch effort to find another van for 10 people plus all their luggage. It's a huge disconnect.
Yep, and this quote right here just says it all. It feels like loyalty programs are really designed to make sure you stay loyal to the company. It's not always a two-way street. And learning that lesson 3 days before your big trip, that's a tough pill to swallow.
So you have to wonder, why did this even happen? Well, it turns out the type of rental they booked was actually a huge red flag. It exposes a major logistical problem that most of us travelers never even see.
You know, a one-way rental for a giant 15-passenger van is basically a rental company's worst nightmare. It's not like a normal car that they can just rent out to somebody else in Miami. Nope, they have to pay someone to drive that empty van all the way back to Georgia. That's a huge cost, a logistical mess, and it means that when things get tight, those are the first reservations on the chopping block.
But here's where the story gets good. Because when the company let them down, the community of fellow travelers, they stepped up big time. They came through with some absolutely genius, creative solutions, and honestly, these hacks could save your next trip. All right, first up, you've got to think outside the box, beyond the usual rental companies. People suggested checking U-Haul. Sometimes they have passenger vans, not just the moving trucks. Another great idea was to look at a major airport hub, like Atlanta in this case, because they just have way more vehicles. Then, of course, there are buses like Flixbus or Greyhound. And hey, if you've got the budget for it, a private limo or charter company just erases all the stress completely. Okay, now this is a brilliant strategic move. Instead of trying to book a one-way rental, search for a round trip. Yeah, okay, you'll have to pay for parking at the cruise port for the week, but here's the thing. The rental agency is so much less likely to cancel on you because you're literally solving their biggest problem. You're guaranteeing the vehicle comes back. For reliability, this is a total game changer. But when it came down to it, the most reliable, immediate, and foolproof solution was the one sitting right in their own driveways. It might not have been the one-van party bus they were dreaming of, but it was guaranteed to get them to that cruise ship on time.
So here's the playbook. Just take 2 or 3 of your own cars. And what about the biggest problem with that plan? Luggage? Simple. Rent a tiny U-Haul trailer or just slap a cargo rack on the back of one of the cars. All of a sudden, you have all the room in the world and you don't have to worry about a single luggage weight limit. Problem solved.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Parking 3 cars at a port for a week? That must cost a fortune. Well, not if you use this next hack. The official port parking can be super expensive, yeah, but nearby hotels with cruise packages, they're often drastically cheaper. I mean, look at that. We're talking a fraction of the price.
And here's someone explaining exactly how to do it. They found a hotel near the port that offered cruise parking for just $7 a day. They saved a ton of money compared to the port's rate, and even compared to the hotel's own regular valet parking rate. So a little bit of online digging here can save you a whole lot of cash.
So what's the big lesson here? What's the bottom line? This whole ordeal really teaches us that while having loyalty status is nice, it is absolutely not a guarantee. Your most valuable travel tool isn't a membership card, it's having a creative, flexible backup plan ready to roll. And that's the question I want to leave you with. As the world of travel gets more and more chaotic, what are you really banking on? The promise from a big company's loyalty program? Or your own cleverness and a solid plan B? Definitely something to think about before your next big trip.